Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to talk about one of the world's most ancient and disciplined philosophies, Jainism. And we're going to start by looking at some of its practices that might seem, well, pretty extreme. Okay, let's dive right in. We've all seen images of these monks who are completely naked, right? Not even a simple loincloth. It seems so radical. So what's the logic here? What's the reason behind this ultimate act of renunciation? And then there's this. You'll often see adherents, especially the monks, carrying this special soft broom, and they're just carefully, deliberately sweeping the path in front of them with every single step they take. And it doesn't stop there. They also wear masks over their mouths, and they follow a diet so strict that it cuts out common foods like potatoes and onions. Now, you might be thinking these are just a bunch of random, disconnected rules, but they're not. They are all expressions of a powerful and totally uncompromising core logic. So to really get the why behind all these practices, we first have to understand the fundamental problem that Jainism is trying to solve. And believe me, it's a problem of cosmic proportions. Just like in Hinduism and Buddhism, Jainism is built on the concept of samsara. This is the idea that every single soul is trapped in this unlimited, repeating cycle of reincarnation, moving from one life to the next endlessly. But here's where the Jain view of karma gets really unique. It's not just some abstract law of cause and effect. It's seen as a literal, physical substance, like tiny invisible particles that actually stick to the soul with every action you take, weighing it down. And this is the crucial point. Even being reborn into a good life, a wealthy life, that's still considered a tragedy. And why? Because you're still trapped. You're still in the prison of samsara. The only true goal, the ultimate victory, is to get out completely, to achieve total liberation, known as moksha. So if escape is the goal, how do you actually do it? Well, Jainism lays out a very clear three-part path known as the three jewels. And it's a pretty logical progression when you think about it. It all starts with right faith, actually understanding and believing in the fundamental truths of existence. Then, that faith is strengthened by right knowledge, which you get through study. And finally, and this is the most important part, you put it all into action through right conduct. Now, when we talk about right conduct, there is one principle that stands above all others. It is the absolute cornerstone, the single most important concept in all of Jainism, Ahimsa, or radical nonviolence. This quote, which you can find on many Jain temples, really gets to the core of the whole philosophy. This isn't just a nice suggestion, to be kind. For Jains, this is the ultimate moral duty. It's the highest possible law you can live by. Okay, and this is the moment where it all just clicks into place. This single, powerful principle of radical nonviolence explains every single one of those seemingly strange practices we saw at the beginning. They sweep the ground to avoid stepping on insects. They wear masks to avoid inhaling and killing microscopic organisms. They don't eat root vegetables because harvesting them kills the entire plant and countless tiny life forms in the soil. And those naked monks? They believe that even the fibers of clothing can crush microscopic life. It all comes back to Ahimsa. Now, this intense path of asceticism is followed most strictly by monks and nuns, but the wider Jain community also lives by these principles, and they found incredible success in the modern world while doing it. This quote from a monk really just highlights their unwavering commitment. When he was asked about his nudity, his response basically flips it around and puts the responsibility on the observer. His spiritual principles are totally non-negotiable, far more important than any social convention. Now, within Jainism, there are two main sects. You have the Digambar, which means sky-clad. Those are the monks who practice nudity. And then there are the Shwetambar, or white-clad, whose monks and nuns wear simple white clothes. They also have a key disagreement on whether women are capable of attaining that final liberation, moksha, in their current life. But it's so crucial to remember that these extreme ascetic practices are for a select few on the monastic path. The vast majority of Jains are lay people, and they're part of one of the most successful and educated communities in all of India. And the numbers here are just staggering. Jains make up less than 0.5% of India's total population, but they have the country's highest literacy rate at 95%. And maybe the most astounding fact of all is that they contribute a massive 24% of the entire nation's income tax. Many people believe this success is rooted right in their principles of honesty, self-discipline, and meticulousness, which, as you can imagine, translate directly into business and professional ethics. And this dedication to nonviolence isn't just a personal thing, it's societal. This is a philosophy that has profoundly shaped history for thousands of years without ever waging a single war. I mean, its history stretches way, way back into deep antiquity. Jains believe the path was established by the first of 24 great teachers, or Tirthankaras, named Rishabhanath. The most recent and well-known was Mahavira, a contemporary of the Buddha, who solidified the teachings we know today. And much more recently, its core principle of Ahimsa famously inspired Mahatma Gandhi and his strategy of nonviolent resistance. One last crucial point about their worldview. Jainism is non-theistic. There is no belief in a creator god. For Jains, the universe is eternal, it was never created, and it's governed by its own cosmic laws. So instead of worshiping gods, they revere the Tirthankaras, these perfected human souls who achieved liberation and showed the path for others to follow. We'll end on one last and pretty challenging practice. To be initiated as a monk or nun, one must renounce all vanity in a ritual called Keshalucha, where their hair is plucked out from the scalp one strand at a time. It's an act of supreme detachment from the body, and it leaves us with a final question, doesn't it? Where is the line between an ultimate act of devotion and an act of self-harm? You know, from the outside, these practices can seem extreme, but from the inside, they are the logical, necessary steps on a path to purify the soul and break free from an endless cycle of suffering. An uncompromising faith indeed.